Hey guys, it is finally that time of year where it is too cold for me to work on the Spec V rebuild project, so I have put it away. Today I think we're going to dig out the Spec V SR20 swap project. In this video we're going to get the dashboard out and swap all of the interior harness out so that I can plug in the SR20 engine harness and see if the Spec V dash is compatible with the 01 SE harness. Hopefully I'll be able to plug the Spec V cluster right in. I'd like to keep it. The mileage is accurate. I like the look better, but we will see. Got to mark the position of the steering wheel. See if I can just shake this thing off without getting the steering wheel puller. Look at that. So working backwards here, we have the 04 to 06 SER and SER Spec V cluster, the 02, 03 SER and SER Spec V cluster, and then this was, I don't know if it was in 2000, but I know at least in 2001 they had the SE20, which was the most hot boy model at the time. These didn't yet exist, and they all go to 150 miles an hour, and they all max out at 8,000 RPM. So I would assume they would all work just the same. I just popped out the electronic pedal. Here it is. I did save the stock pedal from the parts car, and you can actually see right here this indent. I have to drill that out. That's where the throttle cable is going to come through the firewall. The stock Spec V harness that goes out under the dash, under this fender, and into the bay is only compatible with a couple of the plugs right here. This one, this one, this one, and this one are all good. I just don't have it plugged in. That one's not good. This one is good, and that one also is not good. Also, this one's pretty odd. For some reason, the tweeters are the same plug now. I don't know why they would have reversed it in the exact following year, but they did. Saw so many sensors rust out. Even with the fender liner, you get all the road dirt and stuff built up right on this part of the fender underneath the rocker, and then they just disintegrate after a couple of years. The stock AC system is still charged. You can see the compressor's still hanging there, the condenser's still hooked up, but the wiring harness is tucked behind the brackets that hold the AC condenser to the core support. So I have the upper nuts removed, the 10mm bolts on the bottom that hold the brackets to the core support are undone, and hopefully I'll be able to move this out far enough to get the wiring harness out from underneath it without unhooking any of these pressurized lines. So I got the bay harness out. You can see it's twice the length of the width of the car. It's a pretty beefy piece of harness to pull out with 2 separate fuse boxes in it. Now, I said I wasn't going to go overboard, so I'm only going to do these 4 brackets in satin black powder coat. These because they're the first things you see when you open the hood. And these because these AC condenser brackets always rust out on Sentras. So since these are still pretty solid, I want to preserve them the best I can while I still have the chance. I said 4 brackets because I forgot that this was in the pile. This holds the little switch that lets you know if the hood is open or not. And it's also very obvious to see, so I'm gonna do it too. I realized I gotta put in the power steering reservoir first, otherwise I can't run the lines under that. Oh, I gotta crawl under the dash here. As I pointed out earlier, this plug here is supposed to go into the harness that goes in the driver door. That's incorrect, so I'll have to figure out what's not going to function and if I'm going to chop a plug off and rewire that. There's 2 right here. The plugs are different from the SE20 harness. You see there's one big 6-pin that would be this one, which is like a 10-pin. Sorry, that's actually, that would be a 12-pin. And then there's a 2-pin right here. And there's this gray, I don't know, 10-ish pin connector. So those go to the body harness that goes to the back of the car into the carpet. So hopefully those aren't that important. I have a feeling they're probably going to be. And then the only other big difference so far, this little tan box, I'm going to be totally honest, it might be the ABS, but I don't know if this car has ABS, but it says ABS on the box. The other one has this as well, but it has this black box that the Spec Vs do not have. I'm not sure what it is, but there's holes here for that bracket. Now these holes are not tapped, so you will have to tap them to bolt it in. Hopefully my knee didn't block that whole shot. So I went up into the parts treehouse, which if you're wondering how many parts are in here, the floor is starting to sag because I only did 2x4 floor joists. Oops, I'll get some more projects done and that'll get a lot lighter. And underneath the bay harness that comes out from underneath the dash here and goes into the engine bay, they just saw me installing this one. Not that harness in here, but you know, the same harness. Underneath it was this, which I thought was part of that harness, but I realized in this project, I don't believe, no, I didn't take the dash harness out. It's still in there. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was the other half of this. I thought it was the dash harness for this car, but looking at it, these are the plugs. Like this one is already in there, but this is the plugs that goes to the back of the little thing that I am missing. This is the body harness for the SE20. Thank God I am overly careful. I thought I chopped that harness up and threw it away, thinking I wouldn't need it when I chopped the car up, but it turns out that I didn't. Actually, the part that really let me know that it was the body harness, I saw this, which is a dome light, and I was like, yes, I saved the body harness. So that will mean that my windows will work, my locks will work, my key fob should work, my fuel pump should work, which is kind of important. Thank God. So I do have to take it apart even more. I have to pull the carpet up now and obviously pull the stuff out of the trunk. Oh, I think this controls all the rear lights too. So this is a very, very important piece to have. So the shifter assembly and the shift cables is what I have taken out. That is what connects to the stock 6-speed. This is for the 5-speed from the lower end models or the older ones before the Spec Vs existed. This will be getting bolted in. And then obviously one day when I get the correct bell housing, this stuff's all just going to go right back in for the 6-speed swap to attach to the back of the SR. Well, one of the unfortunate realities of working outside is it has started raining, so I'm going to go ahead and pack this stuff up as quick as I can. Winter is definitely setting in hard. A little bit of water dripped on the floor. Yeah, it's ice. It's ice now. All right, I think now we can finally get to pulling the wiring, all 800,000 feet of it. Hopefully this is the last thing I have to change. Although the wiring for the door still doesn't plug in, but I don't have that for sure. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about the windows not working. I'll figure it out. So I don't know why, but it seems that when I took this harness out of the parts car, I chopped off the harness that goes to the trunk lid. So I'm gonna have to cut that piece off of the original body harness for this car, and I will get that all soldered on to what has been cut off. So thankfully for my sake, both the plugs and the B pillars were compatible between both harnesses. They both plugged in. The driver door one, like I said, they're different. I don't know why, but they are. So I'm feeling a little risky today, and I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the dash without any testing if the harness works or not. And hopefully, this won't bite me later. So the next issue I need to conquer, see down here the stud that the dashboard mounts to. Well, it does not reach it because these little relays, or whatever you'd like to call them, I'm not sure what these parts are, but this is a relay. They now hit the dash. I don't know if I have them in the wrong spot or if the SE dash is slightly different. I don't really want to cut that out, but like, why is that an issue now? So because this car is going to need a rotisserie restoration in the coming years, I just unclipped those relays, tucked them back in the dash. Now they're not in the way.